Hello and welcome to my channel. I am Daisy and you are in my Learn Tarot playlist, where in today's video we're going to take a closer look at a certain group in the Minor Arcana of the Court Cards, the Kings. In my previous videos I've mentioned that the standard tarot deck has 78 cards, and in that group they're divided by the major and the minors. And the minor has a court section, like a kingdom, for each of the suits, which are wands, swords, cups, and pentacles. And each one has a king, a queen, a knight, and a page, respectively. So we're going to be looking at the kings. So if you like what you see here, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Okay. Now let's jump into this and take a look at our kings. In general, the kings are representing the element of air. So it would be the air of whatever suit that is: fire, water, air, and earth. And so when it's in its own element, that element is magnified. And if it's in one that's incompatible, you're going to have to work with that, okay? So we'll take a look at that next. So the first king that we're looking at is the King of Wands. In general, when we're looking at all the kings, we're talking about control and authority, maturity. We're talking about king-like energy when you need to deal with something. So when the king of the court cards show up in a reading for your querent, it really is, the court cards in general is referring to your seeker, your querent. So you'll be able to get a little bit more clues about what is going on, especially about them, and also the level of energy they're bringing to it. Is it a young energy, like it would be a page, even though some cases the page do represent young people, but in general it could be that something that is showing up for your querent is new to them, or and their approach is that young-like approach, naive and young and new. Or it could be that they're dealing with something that they have the handle on, like a king-like energy. Okay, so sharing that. So as we look at the King of Wands, he is a master of creativity and power when he shows up. He is about bravery. And of course, a fire sign here. That's what the wands are relating to. So we have your Sagittarians, your Leos, and your Aries. The thing is, as we're looking at this air of fire, what we have is an element that, as we see working in here, because fire needs air to survive, but too much of that fire can bring on a raging flame. And maybe air does not need so much heat, but it definitely does need heat to rise. So we've got a combination here that needs to kind of really work together if you want to get some ideas into action. So what we're talking about when we're dealing with the King of Wands is leadership, bravery. We're talking about being bold and courageous. We're talking about passionate people and magnanimous energy. And with the one thing that is a recurring theme here, looking at the symbols, is the salamander. So there's two symbols here. We have a lion for courage and bravery, and then the salamander, which usually represents that a person has the ability to face their challenges and flourish past that adversity, and they can overcome. So when the King of Wands shows up at a reading, we may want to ask a question of who or what dominates your creativity, or who or what is challenging to overcome the situation. Okay, let's go now and visit the next kingdom, which is, and meet up with, the King of Cups. And as I've mentioned in my previous videos, I think maybe you might want to meet my little cat who wants to say hello. What's your mother here? Come on, baby. Here. So here is one of my 6 kitties, and this is Dottie. Say hello, Dottie. You want to sit on my lap while I'm here? Okay, if you can If you want to stay quietly, you can. Okay. So as I was getting ready to say, this is the air of water. So that combination, as I've mentioned in previous videos, is not a real good combination because I could tell you, living in Florida, we have hurricanes. Air and water, whew, not good. There's tsunamis, and then there's tornadoes and all that working up to make, you know, different destructive things. So this is a combination that really needs to stay in check and not lose its temper, not get out of control, you know, when it's showing up in a reading. So it's something to pay attention to. So as we have, you can see those turbulent waters here, but we'll go into that in a minute. So as we have the King of Cups, we are dealing with those things related to cups, which is sensitivity, diplomacy. We're talking about relationships. We're talking about emotions and feelings. We are talking about all the sexuality as well and sensitivities. And we look at this, and there's a couple little elements here. This king has the red, and he's got a red crown. And so there is control. As you will notice when you look at the Queen of Cups, she also had red, as she has control of her emotions. She has mastery over her emotions and the ability to wield it. We see also the seashells that we saw, that strength, you know, that seashells try to shuck a clam and you find how hard it is. And we see seahorses as well. We see here dolphins and ships, and the ability and that working with different elements of nature and man at the same time, in control of these emotions. And he is on this pedestal and in the water at the same time. So very in control. So when the King of Cups shows up, the question that you would like to ask is, who or what is influencing your heart? Who or what is influencing your heart? Okay, and now let's take a look at the next king in the Kingdom of Swords. Ooh, mighty is he who deals this sword indeed. Of course, of course. And so we are dealing here with the air of air. We have our Geminis, Aquarius, and we have our Libras. And so we are dealing with all the qualities of the element of the air and the zodiacs as well. So intellect and communication, that's their realm. We're talking about logic and maturity. We're talking about intelligence. We are talking about pure mind and calculations. So this is what is at play. So the air of air is a very compatible element as it's in its own house. When we look at this king is looking at you head on when you come to his kingdom. I mean, look at that stance. Serious here. He's got this one hand kind of fist down. Thumbs, you know, like when you put your thumb on it. So and he's holding his sword. He's got his legs somewhat open, like, okay, let's talk. What do you want to talk to me about? I'm here. I mean, he's leaning in and he's ready. Either ready to punch you out, put the thumb on it, put his thumb down in it, or, you know, slay you with that sword. He wants the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. When you have this king here asking you to come and see him, because he wants everything clear and on the table. No messing with him. I do see the angel wings here as far as some symbols. And of course, he is in that traditional gray suit. You know, when they say, like, if you look at anything in the legal system, it's usually black and white. It's a world of grays. Everything's just that, very neutral. And we also have the ivy here as well. So definitely about that eternal truth, eternal life. And then in his gown, part of his wardrobe, this, I don't know what part that they call that. I don't know what the word is for that particular piece that the kings wear. But in the robe, he's got a lot of little swords, confirming his, so he is seeking truth and fairness on both sides. So another thing here, we could take a look at his sword. It has possibly ruby stones, which represent passions. So he is a seeker of, he is very passionate for the truth and what is right. Okay, so when the King of Swords shows up in your reading, the question to ask is who or what most challenges your mind? Who or what most challenges your mind? I'm not sure. How would you like to be summoned by this king? Hopefully you're on good terms. And now, visit with the King of Pentacles in his kingdom. Look at this king. There is something soft and sweet about this king. I believe it's so gentle. He too, as you can see, has these ram heads here. Reminder that we are dealing with the earth signs. So we have the air of earth. The air of earth. And what we have here is, depending on the mood we have here, is that the air can provide the earth with loving warmth and cool them off on a cold day, you know. But sometimes what happens is the air sometimes is way up there and just doesn't want to come down to the earth and see what's real. So that's a little iffy combination that we have. So it's important that we keep this in balance and analyze those things. But as we have here with the earth, we are bringing the friends here to play of the zodiac, which is your Capricorn, your Taurus, and your Virgos. So now, and as I mentioned, all of these kings are representative of control, of mastery, of authority in their suit. So what else do we have here is, and when we see this beautiful, beautiful, gentle face, we see here someone that is financial stability, is magnanimous with it. We're talking about someone that is solution-minded, loves nature. We've got the solid, sensual sense of comfort, the love for nature. And we see that this king has mastered all of that by the way that he just gently holds onto that coin. I mean, I'm sure it's gold, but he has no problem carrying it. And he has his scepter right to his heart. Kind of right here, holding it lightly to his heart, that he loves nature, that he loves where he's at. And he's got people that he takes care of behind this wall. He's got, you could see all of that as well. There's a lot of beautiful peacefulness to this message here, to this card when it shows up for your querent. So the question that we may want to ask when we have the King of Pentacles show up is, who or what rules your material world? Who or what rules your material world? All right, so now that we've learned a little bit about our kings, what would it be like if these men come to the round table to have a chat? I'm not sure they would have a chat, maybe more of a talk. And so all this incredible energy. And when we talk about energy, like for myself, when I'm doing readings, I go beyond the gender. When it comes to masculine and feminine, male or female, for me, it's about masculine energy or feminine energy, because I truly believe we all embody these within and beyond our gender. Okay, so could you imagine what the King of Pentacles would be saying as he's meeting up with these other kings at the round table, talking about the kingdoms and that we need to make sure that we're financially stable, that we've got the resources for our people, and that there's more than we can share here. There's plenty to be had. Feeling very comfortable with this king who's stable in his kingdom, definitely. And then we have, the King of Swords, making sure that, we're being challenged here, that everything is fair. Then is this very logical? I mean, what about this land over here? They don't have a great river running through it. We've got to make sure that everything is being done fairly here. as he's leaning in. Then we have the King of Cups. With all his diplomacy, wants to make sure that we all are involved with the arts and with love, and that we are here just sharing this wonderful life that we all have in a grand sort of way. He is even carefree in how he expresses his love for life. A little bit reckless, I might say. And then we have the King of Wands, courageous and ready to face on some adventure. Well, what about the dragons? Where are they? We must find them, because I'm sure there's much treasures to be had there that we can bring back to our kingdoms. I'm ready to take on that adventure. So there we have it. Well, hopefully you've enjoyed this. If you have, please do show me some love, hit the like button, and leave me a comment. Let me know you were here, and subscribe to my channel.